There's no slowdown in sight for Toronto's housing market as we move into December. My name is John Pasalis, President at Realosophy Realty. You have all my latest writings at movesmartly.com. If you want to keep up to date on all my latest videos, please hit the like and the subscribe button. So when we look at the November stats, the housing market in Toronto surprisingly continues to heat up. Inventory levels for houses continue to decline. Prices are accelerating. Average prices for low-rise homes now are just under 1.5 million. They were just $1.05 million at the start of COVID in January and February of 2020. Now pushing $1.5 million for low-rise houses. Condominium average prices breaking 700,000. Inventory levels for condos are below 1 month of inventory. That market's heating up a lot. So an unbelievably competitive market. When we look at the market for low-rise homes in particular, the big story is like there's just not a lot of inventory on the market. A lot of people are kind of assuming that the big issue is this lack of supply or not a lot of listings. But when we look at the data, that's not really what's going on. So this next chart shows the number of new listings and the number of sales in 2019. We wanted to pick a pre-COVID year compared to 2021. So we're comparing January to November because we don't have December's data yet. But if we look at for the first 11 months of the year, new listings in 2021 were relatively similar and just above volumes in 2019. When we look at the number of sales this year are 40% higher than in 2019. So when you have such a huge demand shock like that and a surge in demand for homes, no amount of construction can obviously keep up and build houses to accommodate the supply, and nobody can force sellers to sell. And that's really the challenge right now, is that this surge in demand for houses over the past year and into 2021 has really absorbed a lot of the inventory. And it's one of the reasons why house prices are accelerating. Now, what's going to happen as we move into the new year? Most likely this trend's going to continue. I mean, the challenge with January and February, usually they're not great months for listings. Usually listings are pretty slow to begin with. Usually more buyers enter the market. It's usually the most competitive time of the year for that reason, because a lot of buyers jump into the market to buy in the spring. They start looking in January, February, but there's not a lot of inventory. So my instinct is, barring any crazy policy change or anything that's going to cool the market, we're going to have a very busy first quarter of the year, probably a very competitive market. If we see any easing in the market, I suspect it's not going to be till probably the end of next year, the second half. And again, unless we get to see some buyer fatigue and buyers just getting sick of this market and pulling out, which again is impossible to predict, but it's one of the things that we think, might happen as we move into the new year, especially as we continue to see this rapid acceleration in prices. I hope that's helpful with a kind of quick market update. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below or send me an email at askjohn@movesmartly.com.